If you start your days with these habits, I assure you that your manifestation is already on its way. I really wanted to share my morning routine, like how I do things, how I have manifested things, because it's never really instant. It's usually these small habits that I do every day, every morning, every week. And I thought of sharing these because I think that it's always interesting to see how others are manifesting, what are they doing, and what's helping them and really working for them. So I thought of sharing this routine and just, giving you some insight on like how my days start and what are the things that I really, really need on a daily basis as my habits to kind of start my day with a more vibrant energy and with trust in the universe, if I might say. If you start your days with these habits, I assure you that your manifestation is already on its way. You really need to create a morning habit, like a morning ritual almost, in order for you to create these manifestation habits so that you can reach your goals and change your self-concept, because it's not easy. It's never that easy. It always requires some work to be done. And how much work, this really depends on who you are as a person and what type of beliefs you have already when you're starting with this. So first thing that I do is I do not drink coffee for the first hour. And I know Huberman says it's 90 minutes, but an hour for me is way over my point. I was used to drinking coffee right away once I woke up, and now this hour is like the first step that I'm able to take. But if you can do 90 minutes, please do, because there's like some sort of science behind this, that your body will wake itself up actually without the coffee, and then the coffee becomes like this extra thing. Because otherwise, if you start drinking coffee right away, your body becomes dependent on the caffeine. But there's also another reason for this, because once I started this, I noticed that I wasn't racing and pacing everywhere once I delayed this first cup of coffee. Because before that, I would drink my cup of coffee and I would try to meditate. And you can probably imagine what coffee does to you. Like you're really, energetic and doing things and really having like this energy to start your day. And I felt like I was getting like jitterish. I don't know if that's the word, but almost like I was not able to just sit still. So trying to do meditation afterwards was nearly impossible. So I actually always would wait for like an hour or so to start my morning meditation after I drank my coffee. This routine is actually now enabling me to start my day with the meditation and then just move through the morning to different areas of this morning routine without feeling super restless because of the coffee. Just like leave your coffee out for the first hour after you wake up. In the beginning, I do feel a bit tired, but once I have woken up from my bed, obviously I wake up immediately once there's like a clock, or I feel like I've woken up the first time, I will not go back to sleep, because I feel like that's your body trying to tell you to wake up now and not later. So I try to always make use of the morning hours because they're super quiet. Nobody's calling you, nobody's needing your help or your attendance to anything, if you have a day off, of course. And if I don't, I also try to do parts of this routine during the days that I go to work, like that I actually have to go to a job where I need to be physically. My job starts usually at 6 o'clock, which is super early. I wake up 4:30, so hour and a half before my work starts. And I do think that this time is enough for me to do even like short versions of this morning routine. During this hour before I actually drink my first cup of coffee, I do meditation and visualization. And I try to combine this depending on my need. And I will notice what my body needs. So sometimes I've been doing a lot of visualizations, like throughout the morning, throughout the day, through affirmations and stuff like this. So I might notice that my body actually needs some meditation. I've been explaining what's the difference between a meditation and visualization. And visualization for me is that I actually visualize the things that I want to embody in the future. And meditation for me is that I don't direct my thoughts in any direction. So I just let them flow freely. So I let like intuitive thoughts and feelings just come to me. I usually do about 10 to 15 minutes of meditation. So free thoughts, just like flowing in the present moment. And I direct that straight to visualization, where I start to really go through and sort of create like this mind movie where I go through all these things that I envision myself to have or to be in the future. There's no specific date. I never put any dates. I try to not attach any seasons to it either, because if I see that, all right, I will graduate from school when it's summer, it means that I cannot graduate in the fall. So I sort of like restrict my thoughts by seeing specific details in the visualization. Of course, specific things are great to have once you are visualizing, but try not to restrict it to a specific date or specific season in your life. So this way it can really move freely and you will reach these goals way sooner than you even expected. After I've done meditation, visualization, I sort of primed my mind to calm down and be in this sort of receptive mode. After that, I move into EFT. I do it in two ways. I might firstly just tap on these energy points. So on top of my head, my forehead, my cheek, my upper lip, my chin, my collarbone, and the underarm. And I usually either do it with one hand or I use both of my hands. I usually also do affirmations while I'm doing this. There is no specific time, but if I have specific things that I want to affirm to myself, while affirming these things, I would then move throughout my body. There are some things that I do and say every day. So there are like daily statements, daily affirmations that I do. And I always usually do these first. And then I try to feel what does my body need throughout this day. So if it's a day where I'm being super social, I have to meet a lot of people and really go through these social situations, I might really focus on feeling good about myself, being open towards other people, just meeting everyone with this grateful and abundant mindset. If it's a day where I need to accomplish a lot of things or I need to have more strength or grit, I might just really focus on feeling energetic and feeling strong and patient throughout the day, because then I can really focus on delivering the things that I need to do. While I'm doing this EFT, at the same time I'm speaking my affirmations out loud, speaking them out into the world. And sometimes if I want to emphasize this even more, I would do it in front of a mirror. So I would do EFT while speaking these affirmations, and then I would also just look myself in the mirror. I would do these daily affirmations, but if there is a mirror involved, I would also do affirmations where I really focus on my self-esteem and how I feel within my body and my skin. So I would really focus on these things while I look myself in the eye through the mirror. If you're like really looking yourself in the eye, at first it might feel a bit painful because we are not used to speaking to ourselves or looking ourselves in the mirror with loving eyes, because this is how our society is working. They're telling us to find flaws within ourselves while we look in the mirror. So if you're looking into the mirror and seeing yourself and really speaking lovingly and kindly to yourself, it will really build your self-esteem up in a totally different way. But it also is a beautiful way to start the day, because you will just feel so loved, but just like loved by yourself. You won't be expecting it from others, but you will receive it from others, because once we love ourselves, this is the language that we're communicating to others, how they should be loving us or how they should be treating us instead. I will be making a video on the affirmations that I use, and maybe you can be using that video for your affirmations if you're not sure what to say in the beginning or how to speak to yourself and what things to actually say to really feel that you're like ready and open for the day. If you live in a place where there's sunlight throughout the year, go outside. Like the first thing that you do, you can do your meditation and visualization in the sun. It is the source of life. So if you can go outside, be in the sun, do it especially right when you wake up. I cannot do it here. In Finland, we have sun mostly during the summertime. So during winter, I try to do this sort of like bright light therapy in the morning, but also red light therapy throughout the day. So I do it in the morning and also during the evening, which in the evening, it should sort of prime your brain to be ready for sleep. You're not looking at the blue light, but you're actually looking at red light. Calm your brain and just the body to feel more sleepy than active, because blue light in our phones and television and computers and laptops is really like kind of keeping us awake and making us feel very active instead of being ready to go to sleep. The last thing, but not the least, I sometimes journal or script. This is because I do feel that I have such strong visuals and I can easily visualize things that I am going for in my life and that I want to attract into my life. I do not feel that scripting is the most powerful way for me to sort of write things down and let them out into the universe. But I do feel the scripting and journaling every now and then is very a powerful way to get your thoughts out onto the paper and just really sort of see all those things that maybe have come true. Today I was just looking at an old letter that I wrote to myself. I learned this letter method actually from Life by Lucy. She did a lot of lives where she instructs how to do these letters, and you can do them with her. They are very powerful because you do not only write these letters when it's like, I don't know, full moon, new moon, but you would also read these letters out loud every morning and every evening. But every time you read them, you would need to go through the feelings of already having these things that you wrote onto the letter. It's almost the same as visualizing, but you're actually reading it from a paper. But because I'm a very visual person, I noticed that visualizing for me works a bit better. So I just stick to that because it's, you know, if we are doing this every day, you want to create a habit and a routine that is something that you can really carry on. So don't make it out to be too difficult for yourself, but focus on the things that you feel are necessary for that day. Of course, if you are not doing these things yet and you're just starting out, just try out these things and see what works and what feels good so you can actually carry out doing these things on a daily basis. But do not feel like you need to do all of these things every day, because otherwise these also just become another sort of task that you need to do. You might not want to do it and it becomes sort of a burden for you. And then the actual reason why you are doing these things to just sort of ease in your life and just create healthy habits for yourself that also just shift your mindset and your mood and more accepting towards the day. You won't really reach this goal because you will just trying to paddle through these habits because you need to do them. Pick the ones that work the best for you. We are all different, so for some visualization might work better, for some writing works better. Sometimes listening to affirmations through an audio might also be more helpful than speaking them to yourself, but do try to speak things out into the existence. So if you are not able to say affirmations out loud because they seem cheesy or somehow you don't believe them, try to do EFT first, because EFT actually opens all the blockages that you have in your body. And once you have opened those blockages and you are doing it while affirming things to yourself, you're actually reprogramming your body to believe these affirmations that you are saying to yourself. Because if you're just affirming things but you have really subconscious blockages within yourself, it is difficult to believe these and the affirmations will not work. But definitely create a morning routine that works for you. Just take time to yourself where you're really focusing on how you feel within your body and how you come out as a person, as an individual, once you socialize with people and come out of your house, and just focus on feeling good before you interact with anyone or anything. And that is why meditation and EFT is very helpful. I would really love to hear what sort of morning routine you are doing at the moment, and if you have already implemented any of these morning habits into your routine, I would love to hear about it. This is definitely a great way to prime your mindset, to prime your brain, to be more receptive and open for the day that is ahead of you. These are all very powerful tools. Try them out and see what works for you. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week.